Hello, 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 Sam Tober, Sound of Joy Music Services, and we're back for our second live stream. Same day. Did the first one, had some um, audio problems. Again, when you're the cheap cook and bottle washer and you don't check everything, if you looked at the two videos, which I believe I have up, one is shortened because the first part, after I played my opening, I forgot to make sure my audio was up. Now I've got a phone call coming in, which is rare. I'm gonna have to let that go by. Okay, I think the phone call has been handled by the answering machine. Normally, no one calls me on my house phone. They call me on my cell phone. Usually, we get a lot of, especially here in the United States, spam calls. So I allow the voice machine to answer it. If it sounds like a human talking to me and someone that I know, of course, I'll go pick it up. But without going through all that, Sam Tober, Sound of Joy Music Services, and I wanted to have a second year in review here on YouTube because I did the first one earlier today. I'm trying to find a time zone where the most viewers are on, so I am monitoring this channel right now on my iPad to make sure that I don't miss anyone coming in. So I always ask to let me know that you're here. I want to be able to thank as many of the YouTubers who have been viewing my channel over this year, especially, but of course over the many years. Thank you personally and live, rather than just putting up something videotaped. Plus, it gives me a chance to have you communicate with each other. Many times you may see someone make a comment in the section, but you never really get to talk with them live. So I may be doing a third one, uh, probably around at least it's almost 4 o'clock here, USA Eastern time. I have a Zoom meeting at 7, so I may do the next one at rather Zoom meeting at 8. I may do the next one at 7 and cut it down to 45 minutes just so that I could reach as many of the viewers as possible. If you saw my first live, I showed you the YouTube summary. I want to bring that back up here once again because I want to be able to thank all of those who have been supporting. Let me just pull it up. Year in review. Believe I have it. Let's make sure it still comes up correctly from the way I showed it earlier. There we go. So this is the year in review for those perhaps who had not seen the first video live. I may delete that first one because it had so many errors in it. This one again, I'm looking to find where is my biggest audience of those viewing. But if you're looking at this is my snapshot of the year in review here at Sound of Joy. Um, it has been a year of increase. As I said on the first one, when you subscribe, when you put a like, when you make a comment, it pushes my channel up in the YouTube algorithms amongst those sites that are instructing in especially gospel music, because I'm able to go on YouTube and in my feed I will see others promoted above the videos which I do, and I question sometimes, gee, how come I'm not getting with all the 1,200 videos that I have on this site since 2006? How is someone just in this space above me? And they've got more views on their videos and more likes, which pushes it up in the algorithm. But this has been my best year, 2022. Again, I will read it through as I'm waiting for others to come in. Um, and that light in the back of my head is really bright. Let me turn that off. There, that's better. Get that light off. 266,000.5, I guess that's 500 views total up until the time when this summary was made. 684,000 watch minutes, 6,617 total likes, 1,411 new subscribers, and the month of October, where I went crazy with videos. I think I did 53 videos in the month of October, so that had the most views. And the algorithm from YouTube, which does my analytics every month, said that the reason why your views were so much higher for the month of October is because you put out so many videos. And I was on a video tirade, I think. I wanted to make sure that whatever came to mind that would be helpful to the emerging church musician and those who were looking to increase their skills, that you got something tangible. So if you didn't get it from video number 5, you got it from video number 9 or from video number 15, or even videos 23 and 25 and 30 and 40 and 53 was the last one I did in October. So I pulled back a bit in November, and here December being the last month of this fiscal year, for those of us that do count the calendar years, I just tailored it to a couple of videos, but put it around the theme of the Christmas season. So, and just looking at the views, those who are looking at this, I won't be on too long because I don't see where we've got anyone coming in. These are the top viewed videos of the year. I Surrender All, which seemingly for some reason has got over 200,000 views since I put it up there, I believe back in 2012. My gospel piano music video, My Soul's Been Anchored in the Lord, this was an actual teaching, and the How to Play the Gospel Piano, I Shall Wear a Crown, which there were, as I watched which video constantly came up on my feed as the most watched, I looked to see, did I have a lesson for that video? And if I didn't, I actually created one. Because if you're watching it, chances are it's an older video, which means I didn't have the software, the level of software that I have now. So it'd be a good time to put a video there to show those chords that I'm playing. As we continue, you showed off your creativity. I'm working on my shorts production. I had to get some software which allows my iPhone to be connected to my computer, so I can get the quote the short concept. It's only like an iPhone shape. It's got to be a certain size, I should say, and it only goes for 60 minutes tops. So I'm going to be producing more of those next year, but these were the 3 major ones this year: Gospel Bounce in B flat, Amazing Grace, and a little E flat minor jazz. Continuing on, community is growing. This is where I'm very inspired. Not only do I have a good following in the United States, the following is starting to grow in South Africa and the United Kingdom. Now, if I were to pull up my complete algorithm, you'll see probably 25 countries in total where I am getting watchers from. And I want to be able to expand on this. And this is part of what I'm going to be doing, thinking about over this holiday season. What do I need to create that will expand my audience in other countries other than the United States? I'm thankful for the United States because that's where the majority of the Pentecostal church musicians are. But this gospel traditional sound does do well outside of the United States. I believe one of my viewers from Romania contacted me, and they wanted to know, did I have MIDI files of the traditional testimony songs? And I was able to share that with a gentleman in Romania, and I believe I had another gentleman from Brazil, and of course a gentleman from Japan who wanted me to increase the lighting around my hands. That's why you saw me turn off that light behind me. That was in his response. He likes to watch my hands when I'm playing the chords, and that the lighting wasn't light enough for him to see it well. Well, of course, I will pay attention to comments from my viewership, and if I can assist in helping them better understand what I'm doing from a visual standpoint, I will make that change for them. Going on, my most watched live stream, teach me how to use the Yamaha S70XS sound patches. That is the current keyboard that I'm on. It is a 14-year-old keyboard. So Yamaha, if you do watch my videos, send me something new and I will feature your keyboard on my in my lessons, and I will show how it can be used in the church or just from a practicing standpoint. Total number of likes, I think we did cover that. Yes, we did cover the likes. And our all-time highs, this is a microcosm of day one on YouTube in 2006, on for 5,910 consecutive days since my first upload, 55.9 all-time likes, 8,252 all-time comments, and 40,100 all-time shares. So I appreciate, I really do, the support shown to me here, as we say in the YouTube environment. I do support other YouTubers who are in this space, who are also teaching their take on other musicians or on songs that they feel will help build the musical construct of the musician who doesn't have that one person right by them. In my future, I do plan to include more Skype availability and also Zoom. These will allow me to get more personal with musicians who maybe can't keep up with some of the videos. I try to keep the videos to a certain pace because I don't want to go past a certain time limit when teaching a song. And there's some musicians who may like the song, but the pace in which I set may be a little out of the reach for them. Well, I do give personal consultations where you could come and do one-on-one with me based upon your time zone. We can work that out. And we can get you up to speed so that you can now look at the other videos that I've had, which may have been a little bit out of your reach, and you'll be able to surpass them and be asking me, these are too slow, give me something that's faster. So I'm always looking to, hey, Sub-Zero, how you doing? I'm always looking to center myself again. Always looking to what are the needs of those who are supporting me in viewing and sharing these different videos. Sub-Zero, you have been a constant support. I wish I had gifts I could give out. I haven't risen to that level. I know I watch some YouTubers and they're giving out PS5s, but then they're able to do that due to the support they get from their viewership. I'm not at that level, but certainly if I can give music out to you, that is what I will do. Again, this is a thank you tour that I am doing. Hey, Lewis, how are you? You didn't miss much. Going over the YouTube summary of how well my channel has done this year, thanks to you and Sub-Zero and the thousands of other viewers. I'll give you a summary tour since you're getting in here. Again, this is my second live stream today because I'm looking, a part of what I wanted to do was to figure out when can I get the most people available. So let's take you back to the summary. I won't go through the entire rewrite of it. But this here is the summary on YouTube, how well supported this channel was in YouTube's eyes. They congratulated me by saying that your channel has this is the best year um, out of the 16 years, I believe. 2008 I came on, so we're at 14 years. 2008, yeah, 14 years. This was the best single year as that this channel has had, and they just wanted to say, hey, look at what your channel has been able to do, and I wanted to share this information with those who make it possible. No, PS5 signed me up. Yeah, and I've got it turned off too. I have the Xbox S. That's my stress buster. I even tried this year putting some of my games online, trying to find a a relief point from just doing music. And I may go back into that again. I got to be careful. Some of the music that box plays may be copyrighted, and I don't want to get a notification for music from a video game. But I may post some of those. Again, I try to do it all. I don't try to limit myself just to doing music, but I've rebuilt a 2012 MacBook. It's actually right here next to me, and I loaded on the OS. Let me see, what is it? Mac OS Monterey on it. The 2012. I replaced the hard drive, put a SSD, 1 terabyte SSD hard drive in it, and upgraded the memory to 16K. I wanted to make that my portable laptop in case I want to go and not be here in the studio, but go live somewhere. I wanted a device that has enough power that I can just hook to it, hook up a webcam. Those are webcams on this, so I can put a better quality webcam on it and be able to do live things. I am looking to increase my content offerings, if that's the way to put it. So what I do, let me just change the scene. What I'm looking to do is do some more content. There's a lot of things that I'm able to do. This chair, 1 second. I'm going to replace this chair next year also. There's a lot of things that I'm able to do as a former technician. I can take stuff apart and put it back together, and it still works. I have so many aged pieces of equipment that I upgraded over the years that rather than throw it out, and it's a good thing that I kept an old Sony computer that I had. I'm gonna say my 2010 Windows computer crashed on me. Now I haven't been using it since I went Mac, and it's true. If once you go Mac, you never go back. That computer would always take, I'd say, 10 minutes before it loaded up everything, before it would even work, and even then it would always crash. Well, it finally crashed for the last time, and I tried to repair it the best I could. I finally said, you know what? I've always backed up my files, and any files that are on there, the world won't end without them. In fact, I still have it on the side here. I'm going to probably remove the hard drive and buy a device which allow me to download any data that might be usable. Again, but I did have an older XP Sony desktop, which got replaced by this one, and I was able to add a video card, which I purchased for an old Mac, which didn't work because it was too old, but it worked fine in there. And I went into the software and saw all the software on that computer that was still functioning, except it only has 1 gigabyte of memory. And when I looked at it, I said, wow, I was operating way back when with 1 gigabyte of memory. So I am tempted whether or not I'm going to search for old memory for that and see if I can at least bump it up to 4 to give it a little bit more oomph, or build a Windows based PC. I've been looking at centers which would allow me to build my own PC. Again, I've done that before. I have an older one that's like my fifth backup, but it still runs also. And that one I actually built a huge desktop tower, so I'm not afraid to get the pieces and put it together, because that's what I have done. I still keep in my drawer here. Where is it now? Where's the little guy at? Oh, here it is. Still keep a screwdriver. Still keep a screwdriver handy. So if something breaks, I don't have to call somebody, but I go to YouTube and find out what I'm looking for. As I say, I'm more than just music. Hey, Gospel Music for Life, welcome, welcome. So I'm not afraid to either fix it myself, and I believe I posted the video. I did. I posted a video of my keyboard, which had a sticking G. If you looked at properly, M1 MacBook Air about a week ago. Gotta find a Thunderbolt 4 dock. Yeah, I'm waiting on the M2 Mac Mini to come out. That's the next upgrade, or the Mac Studio refurbished, because you can get one of those with $200 off and still get the 1 year warranty. That's what I'm weighing 2023. Because I have a sense that as long as Apple keeps coming out with new products every year, someone is going to turn in something they bought to get something new. And refurbished works if you take care of it. The M1 Mac Mini that I'm using now, that you're watching me on, it was a refurbished Mac Mini. I paid $540 for it when they were going for $699. And although the memory is, stock, which means I can't run really heavy duty programs on it, I've had no issues with it. That out of one, every now and then it will get an error and sort of do a reset. But other than that, I will buy a replacement one. The next one when it comes out. But yeah, in order to keep up with technology, you have to invest in yourself, and I do believe in that. I believe in investing in yourself. Um, in the event that this keyboard that I have should go bad, there is a second one waiting in the wings. If this goes bad right here, the replacement is right behind me. The replacement keyboard is right behind me for this one. But like anything else, if you take care of it like you should, you shouldn't have any real issues with it. Also, get insurance on your computer with the same place you can home. So you want to purchase Apple Care or something. Come out cheap. No, okay. Yeah, because I'm a repair. I don't call myself an expert. I just know how to fix stuff. If I got good parts and a manual, I can fix anything that actually breaks. So it'd be rare for me to take something in to be fixed to somebody, because I spent 48 years as a technician fixing $1,000 printers, computers, copiers. It's the same process. Just take it apart right, put the screws back the way they came out, look for what's damaged or worn, replace it, check it, put it back together, clean it out, of course, if it's dirty, and then you're good to go. But yeah, if you're going to invest in equipment that you're going to be using heavily, then it's good to have insurance. We used to call it a service contract back in my day. I started loading up on software during Thanksgiving to catch all the sales. I plan to record a few songs like you. Oh, I encourage you to record music. It is so needed. I've done Jesus Oh What a Wonderful Child as a song, but I think last year's series there was a lesson video put out on it. You don't see me, but this chair is sinking on me. It does that at time. Let me pull up my page. I believe I did do. If you're looking for a lesson on it, let's see. Hmm. Gospel organ chords. Okay, so I did the chords to it, but that was this year. Just looking over at my. I didn't do a lesson on Jesus. Oh, what a wonderful child. How about the word how to play? Sometimes you have to search for the words. Doesn't look like I did a lesson on how to play Jesus. Oh, what a wonderful child. But you will see the video that I put up. Again, piano organs, the chords are the same. It's just the technique in playing it. But if you like a quick lesson video on Jesus, how to play Jesus, oh what a wonderful child, I have no problem doing that right now. Again, you are my viewers. You are who keeps me on the internet. And each time you do a like, a share, and a comment, YouTube pays attention to that and it pushes my channel up on the algorithm. BX3 on my iPad and computer. Yes, I have it on my iPad also. And I have the iRig keyboard that I use when I'm with the iPad. I'm looking at upgrading that also. I got the 37 key model because I wanted to get into doing beat making, and then I realized I need more notes. Those notes, they're not enough for me, so I'm going to look at replacing that. Okay, Jesus, oh, what a wonderful child. What key would you like it in? All right, so that shouldn't be there. Let's get this out of the way. There we go. What key would you like it in? Jesus, oh, what a wonderful child. G? Is G a good key? Let me turn on the additional light because I don't want to hide my hands. There. Yes.
What happened to you? Why you didn't put the food up I told you to?
Where is it? Ah, gee, I did something wrong. Let me go check and see what I did wrong. Be right back. All right. My fault. Sorry about that. Let's do it in G. Okay, that's where I am in G. Um, Headphones. Gotta practice scales. And on the left hand also. Yeah, I messed up. I put something down and I was supposed to put it away. But I'm good. Jesus. Flat, a straight 7 chord. That is a good base in which to work this song. A lot of people try to rush it. A lot of people try to rush this song. Really, you're supposed to take your time with it. That's all it is. Right into it. Oh, what a wonderful child. Oh, what a wonderful child. I don't know why this chair picks right now to antagonize me. So you got that march. Jesus. 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 Little transition. So holy, meek and right. Hold that chord right here. So holy, meek and resolve to the D7. New life, new hope, new joy he brings. Listen to the angels sing. Glory. No. There it is. Glory. Glory. And that's a chord that I like to use. Get that bottom bass. I think that's the entire song, just about. play it in the key of F as well, if you don't mind. I think that is the key of the song. Okay, let's move it down to F. Let's change. As you know, I'm always going to do scales. I always stress it so that you guys can hear the melody in the scales and the chords that you can intermix in there. Get that right chord. Need that bottom. Trying to stretch. Trying to give you the bass also with that. Wow, this chair is giving me fits. I talked about this chair that I'm going to replace it next year, and ever since then it's been it's been giving me the reasons why I should replace it. So again, the same bounce. Now that chord change that I'm going, it's a chord that I learned in another song, and I like the way it sounds when I add that change. Those who like that tritone sound. Right? Oh, it's straight jazz. And once you get comfortable, like this chair is making me uncomfortable. Once you get comfortable playing a song like this, as you see it, I'm just finding different ways to just walk around it. this chair. Okay, it's going to be the end of me. Um, yeah, well, and this type of that's why I said a lot of people play this song, "Jesus Over the Wonderful Child." They rush it like they're trying to get past the song. And the idea is just to set a nice pace where people can sing each note full. Pause. Oh, what a wonderful child. Jesus, Jesus, so lowly, meek and mild. New life, new hope, new joy he brings. Listen, angels sing, glory. Or, or, let me see what's that chain. There it is. I agree. It's nice to have a tempo and allows you to groove with the chords. Music is, and this chair is going to make me switch to another chair I have that this one replaced because of the same reasons. Music is it allows you to be choppy when it's on a piano and to be smooth at the same time. If you're um, if you're using a keyboard, let me pull up my simulated jazz band and let's see if we can do this with that's too fast. I'm gonna slow it down. There we go. Let's see, is that fast enough? And a little bit slow. Speed it up a bit. A little faster than that. Come on, guys. Well, yeah, you go from basic church to a jazz band, depending upon the keyboard that you're working with. Who else has joined us? I don't want to miss anyone. So I hope I've given different way to a different way to approach this song. And it's not say it's unfortunate, but people only save these songs for this season, and then it's never heard again. So no one really spends time on perfecting a different way to play it. Me, I always try to have at least five variations, depending upon what setting that I might be in. If they want to sing it fast, then I can speed it up, just to slow the speed the tempo up. But if they allow me to do it, I'll try to set a tempo based upon the audience and of course the people singing it. Generally, you don't get enough harmony singers, so I'll play three-part harmony and throw those chords in there just to enhance the sound of the music. This chair is slowly sinking on me like I'm sitting in quicksand. So if you see me dip down and pull up on it, that's what it feels like. I'm sitting in quicksand. The chair just slowly takes me down. What as I say, 2023, I'm doing some upgrades here. Do some upgrades here. I'm looking at perhaps having another area to do these videos in, so I can do more like an actual podcast. My favorite Christmas song will probably always be, wow, I'm teetering on "Oh Come All Ye Faithful," which is the version that the Edwin Hawkins that the Hawkins did, or "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." Those two would probably be my top one and two. "Oh Come All You Faithful" and "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" would probably be number two. But generally, um, if I'm playing a Christmas song, I will make that my favorite. Add the chair to the Christmas list. Add the chair. Oh, yeah. I am. I've been looking at other content creator chairs and looking at what they're sitting on currently. See, I'm looking for comfort. Uh, I'm a wide body. I'm over 250 pounds, so I'm working on getting that down to 200 for next year. That's another thing on my list. I've got some exercise stuff here that's supposed to help me work on that. In fact, I can actually turn and exercise right now. Let me see if I can show that to you. I try to put my own built-in gym here. So even when I'm sitting down, I can exercise. If you see those bands that I have across from here. Let's see, I should be able to do this. Those bands are for me to get exercise when I'm sitting in this chair. Where I'm supposed to turn. I'm supposed to turn. Oh, there we go. I'm on the wrong chair, but I am supposed to be doing this to get my exercise in. Because you can't let your body let age be the deterrent as to whether or not you're going to have a strong body. So these are set for 90 pounds each. So I got 45 pounds of tension pulling back on me. That's my basement exerciser. One of them. Push up is another one, and the other one is is a elliptical, which I'm trying to get into 3 miles at least a day on that. Uh, I don't think I have shared this on this channel, and I don't mind sharing it now because we all have a time clock, a moment uh, when life will pass, and I have been diagnosed with arterial um, 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 fibrillation, thanks to my Apple Watch, which keeps track of my heart. So I'm on medication for that now. This is probably why I'm pumping out so much information. No pain, no loss of breath. Yes, going up and down stairs. That's why I keep myself active. But I'm also recognizing that there's a time clock. I don't know what quarter I'm in. I know I'm in the fourth quarter at 66, looking at 67 in the next 5 months. But still got a jumper. If you've seen any of my videos, I posted that also. I can still hit my jumper from the top of the key in my driveway. I got a bike to ride, and I still love doing this music thing. So I want to stay around as long as I'm supposed to. So I have my water on hand. I stay hydrated. As I say, I need to lose. To me, I want to lose 50 pounds. Working on that. That's why I've got those things there to make sure that I get my exercise in while I am trying to keep myself encouraged that if you lose it, you can last longer. And I would encourage anyone that is watching this from a health standpoint, take care of your bodies while you are younger, because your anticipation is to get older. I know I have a Facebook group where I have a lot of musicians that post, and I've been watching too many musicians younger than me leave this earth. And when I look at their write up and I see how they look, I says, gee, he was 42, he was 43, she was in her early 50s. And why are they gone and I'm still here? Well, I'm very conscious of my body. So if something is wrong, I will know it immediately. I don't ever brush it off and say, oh, maybe you just had too much fried food. No, I cut down to fried food years ago. Cut down to beef years ago. I got a fresh bag of salad up there. I eat fruit. But I recognize that the only thing I can leave people is videos like this on this platform, making sure I don't hide, I don't garnish, or there's another word. I don't try to keep everything that I could possibly share to myself, because again, part of me as a man recognizes we only have this time currently right now. I often tell my daughter, if I go, I'll be the only one that don't know it. I'll be the only one that don't know it. So, and I got everything in place, everything legal, everything is in place to ensure that those that my wife and my family, they know where what they say, where all of the jewels are kept and all the passwords to open up all the not the many of them, but to open up whatever they need to open up so that life continues for them. But I'm going to enjoy the life I have here now. So if I need to get me $1,000 chair with a massager and exercise in it that I can sit here and do these videos, I'm going to get one. Yes, I will. Yes, because I've earned it. I think 66 years, and you've made sure that everybody who's in your sphere has been protected and has been provided for. This is my time to provide for myself. Getting off of that because I'm not ready to get out of here. Not ready to get out of here. I'm gonna drink some water though. And I'm gonna clean up my page. Let's get rid of the Zoom, because this is the festive season. Festive season. But we realize we know the reason for the season, and it allows us to play these songs and to enhance them so that other people can enjoy hearing them and singing behind them. Let's see. I think I did "Oh Come All Ye Faithful" as a song already, but I didn't do the Walter Hawkins version, which I love. So let me do that. It actually starts in the key of A flat and then goes to D flat. I never know how many songs from. Oh, I have the. I'll just share the. I have the Nature Valley granola bars. Those are my snacks. I keep those nutritional bars they call them. So I make sure I do get enough nutrition while I'm cutting back. Oh, come all ye faithful. Let's give you that version. That version. Let me remember. I don't remember how it started. Whew. A lot of mistakes. They haven't played that song in, I'll say, decades. Haven't played that song in decades. Jesus Christ, the Son of God. Savior of the world, Jesus Christ, the Son of God, Jesus Christ, of the Jesus Christ, Lord, different way. Miss B Flat, welcome. Thank you for coming in and spending some time with me. This is a second of a live videos that I've done today, thanking you and those and others who have come in and made my YouTube year a banner one. YouTube has a way of letting us know, us content creators, know that we get a lot of support from our audience. Change my camera view. So you're just coming in now. This is what we're celebrating. What I'm celebrating. Excuse me, move my microphone over here. Celebrating the year in review from YouTube. A snapshot of how well YouTube has been monitoring the viewership. So each time that you view a video, YouTube keeps a track of it. Each time you put a like down, which is I always say, if you like what you see, give me a thumbs up so that YouTube can monitor that, because they'll push these videos up in their algorithm. They may not push me past all the top guys, but I won't be lingering somewhere in the bottom third. I'd be in the middle, and sometimes I may even go above someone depending upon how well it's liked. Watch minutes, total likes, new subscribers, and October being, this is just a summary, my most viewed month. I believe that is the month where I posted 53 videos. That was the highest amount of videos I've ever posted. And I was just post happy that month. Post happy that month. So this is what I am thanking all of you who have supported me and who have shared my videos amongst your peers and people who you consider bit friends, that you feel that they can benefit from some of what I share. Maybe not everything, depending upon their skill set, but certainly I try to give enough so that everybody can walk away from each video with something. And as you can see from the page that I have set up, I'm always looking to enhance. I gotta take these off. Looking to enhance how the page looks, and I'll be doing more of this page enhancement. You don't need to see a full view of me. I think just a little circle is good. A little circle is good, and put something in the background. So I may be creating some pages, because I have the ability to create pages also, where I might just create a write up of songs. Let's see if I can share that. Yeah, I should be able to share this page. I'll give you an idea of what I can do coming in the future. Let's use this same page, and I'm going to change what you're looking at. Let me just find it now. Where are you? Oh, there we go. So this will be coming in the future. Let's change who. There we go. The better camera. So this is a write up. This is what I do with people who take my live courses. I will actually script. You know, a bit. I will actually script out the song for left and right chords because I have Skype lessons for people looking to learn the breakdown of songs. So I will actually break it down to lyric and left and right hand chords. So this is what that would look like. And I'll also go to and do the same thing with a hymn. Then I'll break it down by lyric note and and this is for really learning how to play the scales correctly, playing the correct note with each word. And then I'll break it down to lyrics with the chord and the bass, and you can actually sing the lyrics and apply these chords around any song. But this is the type of lessons that I teach on Skype. High Place. Why didn't all of High Place get there? Something must have happened. I'll do traditional gospel. All of my help comes from the Lord. Where once you got comfortable playing the chords, you'll get the bass notes separately, and then you'll have to apply the bass notes to each line. It's all about teaching and instructing on how the gospel sound is constructed. Bass chords work up Highway to Heaven. All right, not sure who this is because it's a number I'm not aware of. 1 second. Hello? Hello? Goodbye. Yep, spam calls. That's okay. But just to give you an idea of what I'm looking at coming, I refine this teaching with my online lessons, or rather with my personal lessons, and with a look to see can I bring this same concept to an online, where I can now take any song and break it down into its essence, lyric and the notes and the chords. This is thought consciousness where I have to be able to be correct in what I'm doing. My faith looks up to thee, another concept. You're not getting the melody, but you are getting the chording. Well, if you were to actually look at the chords, you will see it's written in 3-part harmony. But this is to help the musician taking the course with me to really hear the gospel sound. As you can see, I give the chords first and then the bass second. These are all broken down. This is what I do in my spare time when I'm doing a lesson. I take it so seriously that I will break it down so that once you get a real good look at this, what it's doing gospel wise, you'll learn to do this on your own and you won't need me. That is my number one purpose, is to get everyone who is getting instruction from me to get so comfortable in what I'm doing it, they can do it on their own without me. Then I can work on, as I say, the next group of musicians. That's Thank You, Lord. I broke down the song, How Great Is Our God. And as you can see, I give the lyrics, the melody, the chords, and the bass line. So yeah, this is the fun that I have doing what I put together on this channel. As I say, I'm not just here to show that I can break down a song and boom, that's it. But depending upon the skill set of the person who's taken instruction from me, I don't want to say teach because I'm not a teacher. I did not sit under a professor to learn how to play gospel music. I sat under musicians who left their teaching on albums and on recordings. And then I had to go get the books and use my ear and my ability to move my fingers across the keyboard to hear what are they doing and then practice it. As you see, I start everything off with a scale. That's because the scales and the understanding of how they sound and where they are placed in the context of a song makes it easy for me to teach somebody. Here's what this key is. Here's what this chord is at the level where they can grasp it the quickest. Put sheet music in front of me. If it's a hymnal, I got to look it over and see each single line, where the notes are going, then I'll get it. But if you put a piano score in front of me, I'm lost. But let somebody play that piano score. I'll hear while I'm looking at the sheet music what they're doing. I'll know when they change a note because I got the ability to read limited sheet music from as an instrumentalist, and I'll be able to play it back as I look at the sheet music and hear them play it correctly, of course. Oh, Mrs. B Flat, it's my pleasure. It is something that in 1992, when I began Sound of Joy with AOL dial-up, I wanted to get to this level where I can show everything that I'm possibly doing because I was concerned I didn't see any musicians trying to push me off the organ. I never pushed anybody off the organ or the piano, but when I saw that behind me there was no one, I says, well, if there's no one giving them information, there's going to be a huge gap between me and the next generation of musicians, which there is. There's probably a 30-year gap. That means that's a whole generation of musicians that have never been heard, whole generation of songs that would have come out of those musicians that will never be heard. So, and your support and those of you watching, your support makes it possible for me to keep doing what I'm doing. It allows me to envision what else can I possibly give? What else can I possibly share? Because I want the music to keep going long after my days come to a close. Not that I know anything about it, but while I can still, as they say, live and breathe now, I want to know that I have been as honest and as trustworthy and as truthful as I can possibly be in assisting everyone getting to their best. Have I gotten to my best musically? No. No, I was delayed. Had I had instruction, had I had a professor, had I gone to schools like Berkeley and here in New York was the High School of Performing Arts, and there's another college in New York that does music. Had I had taken that route, I have no doubt I would have been a composer because I love the big band sound. I would have been probably at the level of a Ray Chu. I've never heard him sing, but he is a tremendous composer, a tremendous director. I would have wanted to follow that path, and writing scores for movies. Louis, yeah, subscribers are they're out there because there are some of the channels that I follow. They Here's do. What I found. Why are you talking to me? Oh, goodness. My watch is talking to me, and I didn't call her name. She's. uh, I didn't ask my watch to look up my recent subscribers on YouTube, but it did. You got to be careful with technology. Usually, if when I speak to my watch, I'll say, "Hey Siri," and I'll ask her a question, as I did just now. It's waiting for me to answer, but it just say your current list of subscribers, like it's listening to my very voice. Technology. Never mind, Siri.
I'm not sure I understand.
Maybe you should do the asking.
As I said, technology. My personal assistants. But if I should ever grow in more subscribers, hope to think they're coming because I have something more that they want to add to what they're currently doing. As I say, I watch all the sites that are teaching music, and when I see them, when if they title what they're teaching gospel, I go to it. I subscribe, especially if they got more subscribers than me. And if I hear where they're giving a very watered down version of gospel, then I'll come back to my page and I'll do the same exact song and fatten it up a little bit because even though gospel music is just a set of notes placed around lyrics, some of those notes can really invoke a emotional response from the listener. And I want the listener to get as much as they can out of a song. If I'm doing Hark the Herald Angels Sing, let's change my scene here. And we'll keep it set at C. If I'm doing Hark the Herald Angels Sing, I mean, you could do it by the book. Now, there's nothing wrong what I call the standard version of playing that song. But if I'm going to be a musician who's led by the tons of chord changes and notes that I have dwelled inside of me, I'll play the first stanza right like that. But then I'll dig a little deep and I'll go, that's what would come out of me. Nothing was wrong with that first version. What I played this Christmas by Donny Hathaway. I gotta be careful. messing it up. Sorry. As I say, when I'm not really into it and I'm trying to be conscious of what YouTube is listening to, I make mistakes. Just in chords. Ah, takes a while sometimes. As a musician, I'm from the era of practice, 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 just to play it correctly for that one time. So if I don't practice the song, the more I practice it, I should say, the more I play it, the more I can feel comfortable where my fingers are moving, so I don't have to think about it. Just put them there. Scales. Well, I may come back. I do have a Zoom meeting. Part of what I do is I participate with other musicians. Excuse me. There are other musicians on my Facebook page where they come together, where they older musicians come together, and we talk about how can we pass on our years of experience to younger musicians who find themselves in church ministry. And I participate in that group because I want to hear the thoughts. Yes, gift cards are the way to go. Let them go buy the gift that they would return if you bought it for them. That's how I learned. Here's a gift card. Go have at it. Um, when we meet, we've been meeting since, I want to say meeting since March of this year, and we can't seem to get younger musicians to come in, even though we invite them on Facebook. There's an actual group that has about 180 now registered musicians who join the group, but we'll have our meetings every Wednesday at the same exact time, and we can't get a one of them to come in and share with us what they're going through, and then we share with them what's the best approach that they can use in whatever situation. And we deal with salaries, we deal with health, we deal with instruction, we deal with the stress that actually comes along with it. And we can't seem to get not even one of the younger musicians to come in. So I'm there, my brother, who's older than I am, but also an accomplished musician, is there. The gentleman who actually formed it, he's been a musician and a pastor, so he knows the relationship between the musician and the pastor firsthand. Another musician who is a tremendous musician out of Detroit. He actually plays in a hotel and plays all the classics. Plays any song you could think of, gospel or show tunes or jazz. He knows them if though he wrote them. Tremendous musician. I love to hear when he does his program on Facebook where he just goes and what you call out a tune and he knows it. Donny Hathaway, Roberta Flack, Shirley, Aretha Franklin, anyone you could think of, he knows all the tunes. That's the level of the actual musicianship. And of course, there's me, who is Mr. Traditional Church Musician. You always need someone to bring everybody back home. But we cannot get younger musicians to even pass by for 30 seconds just to say hi, heard you guys were meeting, just want to say this is my name and go out. So now I'm not. Now actually, he does have a page here on Facebook where that group, Reverend Clarence Blair, and perhaps the name of his group may throw some musicians of different ethnicities off. He calls it the Black Church Musicians Union. Not that it's only for the black musicians who are black. I hate that term too, but that's what he calls it. But it's he's reaching out to the musicians who are primarily playing in the black church. But it's a place where I'm allowed to at least offer what I have, and I've always been offering what I do here on Facebook as an enticement for younger musicians to just come in and hear old heads talk. I'll put it like that. Hear old heads talk. Because we realize that we're not the cream of the crop anymore. We are not the on demand as some of the younger musicians are. And but we still have not just experience, but ability to offer to say, at least from my standpoint, I want to help a musician get better than me. Not the musicians that I came up around with in my young teenage years where they wouldn't show me even a single chord, let alone, talk to me about music. That's why I said if I had the opportunity to share what I've learned or whatever I learned, I will not hide a single chord. I'm going to let you go with this because I did this on my earlier stream. I should have kept it out. When I got started in music, it wasn't with the piano, but it was with a flute. It was with this device right here. This is not the exact one, but this is how it actually started for me in public school at the age of 8. And this is when I began to first learn how to read notes on a scale. And I'm going to end with Joy to the World. I'm trying to think, can I play this and play the piano at the same time? I'm not that gifted to be able to play this and to play this at the same time. Oh, you just sent a friend request? Look for more. Okay, I will do that. And I will add you to the invite list of the gentleman's page. But you're going to hear how I started. I can still play this. It's a C instrument, but I used to know all the flats and sharps too. It's been a while. Let me just tune up a little bit. Wow, I did better on this time than I did when on my first stream. So yeah, the more I practice on something, um, you begin to remember the things you did to get the proper sound out of it. But yes, this is where, for me, this is where music started. This is where my first instructor began to instill in me music, and I became very good at playing this, better than I could to play the piano. But it wasn't enough for me. I needed to be able to get out of my head on a piano all the notes that I would hear. But yeah, that was the start I had. Unfortunately, and Lewis, you're actually correct. They used to do this music. Yours was a part of the school system. That was where I came out of as a musician, and a lot of younger musicians, 60 years ago, 50 years ago, they don't do that anymore. So I take my time now to destroy them both. But I take the time now to share everything that I do so that I can encourage not just the person who's viewing me wants to learn something, but the person who stumbles on my page and that says, well, gee, I've never had someone that could break down a song. What's this scale thing he's always talking about in all his videos? And they just sit there and they watch what I'm doing, and it begins to fester the enthusiasm. $100 harmonica. Wow. Did I ever try harmonica? I may have. I didn't like it because didn't like it. I think that you breathe in and out. Yeah, I did have a harmonica, a cheap one. Probably that's why I didn't like it. It was one of those back in my day $1 harmonicas. There you go. The recorder is everyone's pathway into music. That gives you that first taste of I can make a sound that sounds good. My granddaughter is 11, doesn't want to play a lick of piano, but her school has her on the viola now. I'm going to encourage her to come down here and let me try to teach her notes on her viola as she's taught notes, so that she's just not playing hot cross buns, but I can actually teach her a song that she can go and. Oh, so you had to ask that question, didn't you? How many? Now I gotta. Now I have to go get it. I got it on my first video. Let me go get it. You want to know how many instruments do I play? I am a instrumentalist by trade. Let's bring that up a little bit here. Although I don't play this anymore, but from flutophone I went to trombone. From trombone I went to French horn. This was gifted to me. I can show that. Back in 1960, is it 65 or 66? Because I was I guess in their ears, in their eyes, so well adapted to this French horn, the school gifted it to me. And I questioned them. They said, well, you can take this home. And I'm like, to keep? They says, yes, we want you to keep this. So I've had it now all these years. It's still, I don't play it anymore. I'm not even going to try to play it, but it's still functioning. I remember what they taught us about it. You've got to keep the pads from drying out. These haven't rotted out. They're dry, but they haven't rotted out. And you had to keep these oiled, clean. I need to clean them and put some more porpoise oil on it so that they will stay. Let me see, you can see that. There we go. These tune it. I need to clean them again. But these are for tuning it. It is a very difficult instrument to learn to play because your posture can change a note while you're playing. So this was gifted to me Still has the Board of Education stamp on it. Where is it at? Oh, there it is. I don't know if you can see that. There we go, right there. That is a Board of Education, property of the Board of Education stamp on it. As I say, I questioned when they said you can have this because I didn't. I was a child that wouldn't take anything. Even if somebody dropped money on the floor, I wouldn't pick it up because it wasn't mine. But they gifted me this. I got the case also that came with it. This is the case that is kept in. All that noise I'm making. So that's, let's see, flute, trombone, French horn, mellophone, just counting all the instruments that I have physically touched. Mellophone, bass guitar, guitar, drums. What else have I touched? Never did violin. My brother does violin. And this is all before keyboard. As I said, there was no one to show me how to play the piano. So these are all of the instruments that were introduced to me before I made a dedicated stand on I want to be able to learn how to play the keyboard. And when I became old enough to afford early level song books or keyboard piano teaching books, I began to understand how to form your fingers over chords. Again, I probably got 20 or more books here showing you proper fingering for a chord and what a chord name is, because I would hear the chord in my head from a song, but I never knew what it was called or how it's called. So when I got a book that would show me the name of that chord in the key that it was in, I go, oh, so that's what that chord sounds. That's a C7. That's what they call a sustained chord. Right now, when you have chordy, and let me just take me out of this big picture. Had I had chordy app, 40 years ago, I never knew the name of that chord. 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 I didn't know the name of that chord, but I could hear it in my head. I could go to the piano and actually play it, but I never knew what the name of it was called until I learned the scales and got a chord book, and the chord book would spell out, this is what that chord is. Then I would get song books of gospel music, and I would see them placing chords above the melody. I could play the melody because I was an instrumentalist, and then I could now match the chords in a songbook over the melody. But the thing was, it didn't sound like the album. And that troubled me. I said, wait a minute, that's not the chord I'm hearing in this song. One of those books is somewhere. It was a Walter Hawkins book, Love Alive album book that I got. I wanted to play those chords that were in there. So I had to rely more on my ear and on learning the name of chords. Next time, give a solo. No, you don't get a solo on the French horn. I am that French horn playing would leave my lips sore after every practice and after every rehearsal, because you really have to press it, and you have to do get a spot there. You have to press it on, and you got to stay in that spot in order to get the correct notes out. But yeah, again, if I had to, for whatever reason, bring it out of retirement just to do one song, you'd have to give me 6 months. I'd have to get a new mouthpiece. The one I have the one I have is all corroded. That's what the mouthpiece looks like. Very tiny, but part of my history in music. So I try to be knowledgeable when I'm giving instruction, and then try to use like if I'm doing the sound of a brass instrument, or when I'm doing a production, I know what a brass instrument sounds like. So when I have to mimic, say, a trumpet, because I was my section was in the brass section. Let's pull up trumpet brass. I'm able to mimic what those sounds sound like because that's the section that I was in. I was in the horn section, and the brass trumpets were actually behind me. So I can mimic using a keyboard what those instruments would sound like because that's the section that I sat in. I also had saxophones to my left. Trumpets were behind me. The saxophones were to my left. So if I were to go into the woodwinds, to the brass, excuse me, to the saxophone section. Where's my saxes that I love to practice? Somewhat I can mimic. I can write a score. I can. We didn't have strings in my high school band. We were more like a jazz band. But I could hear what strings would sound like in an orchestra because I would listen to a lot of movie theme music. So if I were to pull up a string section, no, that's not strings. Strings. And I would look for what I like to use is the quartet sound. Let's see. I would have no problem emulating what a string section would sound like if it were a full ensemble. Can you talk about the reasons for playing open fists and not full triads in your right hand? Because I want to hear um, the notes that are beneath the lowest note and above the. Let me see. I want to hear the notes below the highest note and above the lowest note. So if I do this, I know I have all of these notes. So I want to be able to hear them. There we go. Missing one. There we go. Oh, welcome, Nathan. Sorry. Um, it's really about, and I keep harping on this, about scales. The different instrument sounds make me want to sound like I'm doing a violin strings. I want to sound like strings. I can only do that with scales because a violin can play dual notes. A violin will never play three notes at the same time. Which means I have to have an ear for what an actual corresponding second instrument might do, not exactly what a single instrument would do. So in my head, I am thinking single instrument, two notes out of a single instrument, and a second instrument gives me a third note. So all that is going on in my head. That's the note. So I got to be able to hear top, middle, bottom. I have to be able to hear every one of those notes before I play it, so that if I play it wrong, I would immediately hear the wrong note. And sometimes I think I make people uncomfortable when I speak what's happening in my head because it's hard to describe without keeping it as basic as possible. I work off of the scales. I hear them. I hear them where they are placed. If I were to go to a higher range, although I can't mimic that sound up there, but I can still hear it. So I look for what sounds correct, number one, based upon what scale I want to be in and how and what approach I want to use. These are the things that I really can't write out. I know you say I should put out a gospel theory book. I would. I put out my workbook that I've shared with. I'm sure I shared with most of you the workbook that I put together. I wrote in there some of the thoughts of chords to songs. Let's see. I should still be able to pull. I should be able to pull that up. Okay. Let's see. Just going to change the window we're looking at to this one. This was as close to my own gospel workbook that I was able to come to. Let's bring me up here. Let's get rid of you. Go to the back, please. Thank you. This is as close to giving you musically what goes on in my head as I possibly could come to, where I broke down the practice techniques that I use when I play, and then when I began to include my thoughts about chords, I had to break it down for the new musician, the intermediate musician. Who, to me, the intermediate musician is the musician playing 5 to 10 years in the church. The new musician is the new musician coming over from playing guitar, bass, or drums. He has a limited knowledge on what notes sound like, taught in the number system concept of this is a 1, this is a 5, this is a 6, this is a 1 plus 1 of a. That I said I need to get them where I was. Where I didn't know what scales were. I didn't know what chords were. I didn't know what minor chords sounded like. That's the new musician. The intermediate musician, he or she just needs to know, what do I play when I'm in church? After I played a song for the praise team, for the choir, how many other songs do I need to know? That's the intermediate musician. The advanced musician is, hey, I don't need you, Sam Talbert. And then I show him chords that he has never heard of before. Chords and harmony techniques, preacher chords, hymnal sheet music for sight reading, intro to praise and shout techniques, and my favorite, the chord reference chart. That was for the musician that don't need me. But then I said, but I got something that you've never seen before. And hopefully they would go through my book and see that. So I would give, when I was doing instructions, I would want musicians to know everything I know, everything that I've learned. Stretch this out a little bit. It's cut off there. Come a little bit more. There we go. This is, you say, a gospel chord theory book. No, I believe in teaching what taught me how to understand what I'm doing, how to properly hold my hands when I'm playing chords so my fingers don't hurt. The scale in a representation of a keyboard and notes on a music staff, so that if I'm forced to look at a hymnal, if I'm a new musician, I would know what that note is in the hymnal and how it corresponds to a keyboard. This is information. This is what all the musicians hide from everybody else. This is what was hidden from me as a young musician. No musician would tell me to go get a book from the local music store, Guitar Center. I think Sam Ash didn't exist back in my earliest stages. No one told me this is where all made. We didn't have copiers back then. That's how long ago I started. There were no copiers, no fax machines. But you can write it on a piece of paper and say, here, this is what a keyboard looks like. This is where C is. Here's the chord I'm playing. No musician wanted to share this information with me, and I made a vow to God and to myself. I would not hide what I learned because I wanted no musician to feel like they're incompetent or underqualified to learn to do this, especially if they're playing for a church. And I designed this for churches. And my request to churches, and I actually sent letters to, and I'm probably going on the, well, this is sort of the Christmas season anyway. I would send letters to the churches in my area out of the phone book. Hey, my name is Sam Talbot. I play for Kelly Temple Church of God in Christ. I'm starting a music service um, uh, to help musicians learn how to play. If you want to support me in what I'm doing, call me at my phone number where I lived at home, or write me back, and I'll start training your musicians. And not one church contacted me. That was depressing. That's why the internet became my home for teaching, because not one church called or wrote me back to say, yes, we want to have 3 of our musicians taking what you're teaching so that we can always have a musician. Scales, correct fingering in every key. No musician would show me even how to play the scale in C. What I got from, and what you're seeing is what I got from books. Then I broke it into practice sessions in the minor scale. Why? Because a lot of the songs in that day were venturing into the minor sound. So I needed to give you the scales in the minor key so that you can hear what they sound like. So if you're going to be learning a song in the Fred Hammond or from the Praise and Worship album, you can hear those scales in that song. Again, hiding nothing. Then I gave you a breakdown of my chords. Something that church musicians would not do for me. And I used the song Our God is an Awesome God. He reigns from heaven above as an introduction to my chords. Not the ones from the not the ones from the album, but what I use currently in church. This is the dedication that I put out there to help musicians everywhere. This wasn't available as a down. This is version, I want to say this is version 8. There were versions 1, workbook 1, workbook 2, workbook 3, workbook 4. And each time I upgraded the book, I added more information. So this was the final one put out in 2011. Yes, it is available. I can give you a link to my Gmail and I will send it to you. I've done this in the past where I've sent books to people because I want them to be able to, from the younger people in the church, hey, if you've got a son that has the time, he's very fidgetive, or a daughter that wants to get involved in music and wants to learn to play for their church. I know a guy that has free information because this was all free. I invested in the software and in the computers to be able, and in the learning to be able to create this for free, and this will help them get started. I'm trying to remember how I put this because I would have changed it now if I were to do this again. Scene 2. I think it would have been Our God is an Awesome God. He reigns. Oh, piano. Come out of here. Go back to piano. Our God is an awesome God. He reigns from heaven above. My chord with wisdom, power, and love. Our God is an awesome. In the minor, do 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 do. My chord. Our God is awesome. Because I didn't have Chordy app back then. God, He reigns from heaven above with. I love doing that. With wisdom, power, and love, our God is an awesome. And then the minor. God. And mind you, this is for the new musician. This is not even for the intermediate or advanced because those guys don't need my chords. But the newer musicians, I want them to all of a sudden begin to hear what they can do when given some proper, well, I call it my version of it. And yes, I put tests in there. I wanted them to go and be able to fill out the scales in all of these keys. Again, there is no getting better without proper instruction. And then I would give them the chords anyway, so that they can add it to what they're doing. But yes, and I broke down the book knowledge of what a scale is, what a chord is, what a half step is, and a practice routine if they've never had one. That's the right side of the page. The left side is, again, more theory, more knowledge. And another song, Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary. It wasn't until later when I re-looked at this, I mistakenly put some chords in there twice. But I wasn't going to redo it. That's from 2011. Then I created my own chord charts. The ones on the right side, I created that using what program was I using? Adobe Illustrator. I got a picture of a keyboard and I created dots and I started placing the chords I use because I wanted the musician who was at that time taking my instructional course to not hear me play and have to ask, well, gee, what is that chord that he's playing? No, here's the chord that I use in this particular song also. Because, sometimes if you give them what I call the baby chords, they'll get lost in them. But give them the real, what I call meaty fat chords, and then they want to go a little further. Then I broke it down. Again, this is still for the new musician. We haven't even left the new musicians yet. Getting them prepared. And I think I broke down the song, Yes, Jesus Loves Me. That should have been the next thing. Yes. Oh, How I Love Jesus. Practice these chords to this familiar song. And I gave another concept. I said, gee, what if I were to create a song, a melody that's well known, but just give them the chording around it that they can look at and, again, enhance their ear by singing. Let me see. Oh, key of C. I want to see if I can do this. Oh, how I love. Click the next string. Jesus. I got to go back up. Should be another O there somewhere. Jesus. How did I write this? There should be another. Oh, how I love Jesus. Oh, here it is. O, G7, O. I know I wrote this. How I love G. Top of the page. Where's the other part? G. Where's the Jesus at? The. Oh, there it is. Just there it is. I knew it was there. Oh, what the? Jesus. Oh. Oh. How I. Oh. That should have been there. Oh, how I love to lead me to that one. So again, I'm looking at this. That should have been on because. B, there it is. B. Oh, boy, I'm going to have to redo this. He first loved. Boy, I really messed that up, didn't I? I mean, I'm not looking at it right. But this was the concept. This was, they say, I'm trying. I was trying. I may have to deconstruct this again and redo that. I want to share this. But that was the end of the young musicians and getting them started. Intermediate, I gave them. Yeah, you can see the same concept where we took a song, which was at that time "How Great Is Our God," was a emerging song, and I gave the basics of melody, chords, bass, and additional chords, two and chords three, so they can add to it. Because the more you give a musician, they can absorb more different ways of playing the same song. Then I went into establishing the local church music department because I've always felt that you got to give a musician more than just chords, but you got to give them a purpose to what they're doing and knowing what their place is in music ministry and in the local church so that they don't get a what they call the big head. Oh, I can play all these songs and everybody loves it when I play. No, here's your place. Know your role, as the rock would say. Know your role and do your work. Don't worry about everybody else. So I made sure I put that information in there too, dealing with musicians and singers ministry, building a good choir because that's what you're going to be finding yourself working at you in the church, playing hymns and spiritual songs used in the church. And I got this information again out of books to help me, the musician, get an understanding. Thought this was going to be an easy course. No way. I use every one of the above techniques in my hymn playing, and if you follow my example, I will teach you how to improve your understanding of hymn playing using these techniques. Again, it's all about information. I'm going to jump through a lot of this because, here are a set of song standards for the different seasons, and you will find Christmas is in there. Seasonal selections: Joy to the World, O Come All You Faithful, Silent Night, Hark the Herald Angels Sing, Emmanuel, Jesus, Oh What a Wonderful Child. Standards. Every year you're going to hear these songs sung one time, probably on the Sunday before Christmas. In this case, this year it's the Sunday of Christmas. But these are the standards. This is for the intermediate musician. That means you're currently playing for a church 5 to 10 years, and you're always being told what to do. It would be nice if you had an instructional guide so that you can now say, we're going to do this song here. We're going to do this song on Easter. We're going to use this song for as an opening hymn, this song for a processional for the choir. Again, this is past. A lot of this stuff is not relative now. Continuing on, scale practice. This is the opening of sheet music reading for musicians that have never had a formal teacher. I give you the notes and the fingering so that, and if you revert to the first pages, you will find that it's a lot easier to follow. I don't do this anymore. That's all that's changed. The advanced musician. These are for the music. This page was for the musicians who don't need me. And that's great because if they look at this and go, oh, what is this guy going to show me? What's that? Oh, this guy's got Hammond organ drawbar settings for days. Oh, this guy teaches organ too. Oh, I've never knew that Jimmy McGriff had settings. That there's a setting for theater organ, there's a setting for a full organ, which everybody pulls all the drawbars out, and foot pedals. Yes, I put something there for the musician who says he don't need me, because I will have something that you haven't seen, because no other musician would share those. And then I give them my whole diatribe, you might say, church musician do's and don'ts. If they keep reading, if you haven't taken a 15-minute break, then continue with your lessons. Which means I always try to not make it so you got to learn everything in one setting. Chord progressions in C. My preacher chords page. How I interpret preacher chords. It's not different now. These guys got a lot more wind. But I give you the concept, gave you YouTube videos to practice preacher chords with, gave you all my preacher chords from a starting standpoint, patterns in every key, hymn, D major. Okay, some history about the hymns, information that every musician who's going to play for a church should know. And then I gave you a song out of the African American Heritage Hymnal that you could practice. That was currently being sung. 2 songs, 3 songs. Kirk Franklin, B E flat. Scales. But by this time, you'll have all the chords to fit that song. That got messed up, so I won't worry about that one. And the end of my book is pages that have been my, you might say, my golden moment where all the secrets of chords was opened up to me. And I said, I cannot keep this to myself. These are all of the chords you hear me play. All of them. In every key. Whatever chords you hear me play, they are from this selection of images that I made available to every musician. So when you hear me play a chord, this is where they have come from. Every key, every inversion, the bigger the chord, the more notes are added. And because I can hear them in every key from practicing, I can intermix and match them together. This is as they say, the golden grail of being able to understand what goes on in my head. All of this. Every bit of this is in all of my playing. When you're wondering, why am I doing this chord? Let's see. Let's bring you back to. Where am I getting that chord from? I'm getting it from here, which is in that book, and then I'm listening to all the other notes I can add underneath to make it sound like that. And that chord is coming from nice jazz sound. That chord is coming from this, a G minor 7th. If I were to go into my book and I want to find what does a G minor 7th chord, there it is, G, and you search for G minor 7th, G major 7th, G minor 7th. There it is, all the way to your far right. Right there. Inversion, inversion, inversion. That's where all of my chords come from. And I just add a bottom to it, a bass, and corresponding chords to make it sound fat. This, in essence, is why I'm on YouTube, why I've been sharing since 2006. I'm gonna drink some water because I talk too much sometimes. Pardon me. Why I've been sharing since 2006, because I don't want to be the only one to have access to information and, as they say, be the star of the show, be the one everybody wants to hear play. I want you to be the next, not me, but the next you. I'm only playing what I've heard other musicians play, and then I add my twist to it as I add other components of what I've been learning from fingering, from scales, and of course from this collection of chords out of the book that I still have here. This is the book all of those chords came from. it's kind of the cover is kind of it's that old. The book is still here though, but that's where that came from. Okay, much longer than I expected. I'm at the 2 hour mark, but again, this was the holiday season. For those who will be watching the replay of this, you don't. I haven't learned the timestamp thing yet, but I got to put that on my agenda. How to be able to timestamp it so you can jump between a lot of stuff that I'm talking about. Never expected to be on 2 hours, but when I'm asked a question, I always want to give as thorough a response as possible because you viewers are very important to me, very important. Sub Zero, I am going to put my where is my page at? Going to put my email address here so that I can send you a PDF copy. That is a PDF. And I will send it to anyone that wants one. As I say, it didn't cost me anything to cost me time. Time is not anything use. Supposed to make use of your time while you're alive, and that's what I did. I made use of my time and created information in a format where a person can download it in their home, print it out, and take it with them to their church. Or nowadays, we did have the iPhone was emerging. You can now have it stored on your iPhone and pull it up as a reference wherever you are. Yeah, I do have a Cash app. I didn't put it in the description. Again, I I do put it in there for those who want to who want to contribute to me. You're not required to. I often say that if you because I understand the times we're in right now, you've got to be able to take care of your household first before you share with me. God has been um, he has been for those who have the religious concept that you are watched over by a higher authority in life. I use the term that God has been a great father to me, and that He has placed me in the presence of people who watched me as I was growing through life, through my parents and through in my work life. I had people who would steer me into different avenues of life and my work life that kept me employed. So I was able to last 48 years in the workforce. Was trying to make 50 years, but then it got really difficult health wise and the type of work they were asking me to do. But for my 48 years of working, I never knew what a layoff meant because I was always steered where there weren't layoffs and yet still able, and I didn't have to relocate. But I don't, but I've been trained and taught to say this somebody wants to share with you, don't ever say no because that to them is a release of a conscious thought to want to share something. So I will put my Cash app. Again, you're not required to, but I will put it in there if you feel that it is a release of a thought to you to support what I'm doing here. Let me type that in. I should know what it is. I believe I spelled it correctly. Yes. No, Venmo I don't have. PayPal I do have though. I will post. As I say, I'm watching other YouTubers and how they post comments on their main page. So you may see some of my page. I'll post the Cash App, the PayPal, and all of the devices that I use to do this, so that if you want to create your own YouTube page, I post to what I'm using, which is all, you can purchase it through Amazon. And because it's a link which I created, I'm an Amazon affiliate. I haven't made any real money with them yet, but if you want to get the same microphone, these same lights, the Apple M1 that I'm using, and the devices that connect to it, I will post that so that you can I do that here? No, I'll do that. I'll post that in case you want to build your own YouTube platform. And if you do, please ask me what is the best path to creating your own YouTube channel where you can share what you're doing. You would be surprised what people will watch. What people will watch on YouTube. Okay, that one I have to make sure I get it correct. Because I don't want you to send it to an incorrect site. Where my backslash is at. Backslash. Where the backslash is at? Oh, forward slash. That's what I'm looking for. Here it is. There we go. Actually, I should just copy and paste it from what I have. Do. Wow, you know you've been on a long time if the batteries in your mouse go bad. Okay, I keep extra charged ones at the ready. Go power. Do. I do it correctly? Yes, I do. I was just checking to make sure that I spelled it out correctly, because I save it on a page where everything is in place, and all I have to do is just cut and paste it when I put it on my description page. So that is the correct link. If you desire, again, I appreciate any consideration that you want to share with me, because you help make me you help encourage me to not only to continue but to enhance what I'm doing. Any questions? Because you have been so patient, spending all this time here with me. I have very few 2-hour streams. I try to keep it to an hour to an hour and a half, if I'm getting participation. And I appreciate the fact that you have been communicating with each other. That recent song you did, You Do Everything, including DistroKid. Yeah, that was the last one was God Still Answers Prayer. Wrote that song in 1996, I think. 96 or 98. After reading in another church, they had a sign up. and they had it in like acronyms. PUSH. Pray until something happens. And in my head, I began to think, gee, pray until something happens. And I'm saying, gee, I can write a song to that. But that had to be the ending of the song. So I began to think about it. And again, when you play a lot of scales, I says, pray until something happens. God still answers prayer. Okay. He will be right there, even better. Hold on and don't despair. Why? God still answers prayer. I said, okay. Need some scripture in there. Men ought to always pray and not faint. God said, men ought to always pray and not faint. And here comes our tag. Pray, 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 pray until something happens. God still answers prayer. Yeah, Louis, that singer, I went to a site called Fever because I needed a. The song was made for a choir, no lead, so I wanted the song to have a lot of pop to it. And so I went to a site called fever.com where you could find, even I'm on fever.com as a songwriter composer for anybody who wants to create a song. I often say I can create a song about peanut butter if you were to ask me. And when I heard her demo of what she demos, I said, "Yep, that's the voice I want." And she's from Barbados. So you imagine how technology has it now, where you can link up with a singer in another country on an island and get a quality um, track. And she was professional. She had sung with a lot of different groups when she traveled, and it was her business. This is what she actually does. So we communicated, and yes, I made some errors in the song. Sometimes when you hear it in your head, you do it one way. When you hear somebody else who's professional sing it, you go, "Oh, you know what? I should have made that a little bit faster." Says, "Well, if I have to speed it up, you're gonna have to charge you another full price because I have to redo all the tracks." I said, "Not a problem. Just send me the bill," which she did. So I paid double, which was okay because you hear the finished product. Um, can I pull that up? I don't mind doing this because it's the Christmas season we're on, and my wife's already mad at me because something I did, so I can stay down here and not have her be mad. You could actually hear the vocal tracks that she, without the music, that she sent me. That should still be. That should still be on my. Where was it now? In my download folder. Just looking at my download folder for. What did we call it? I hate having dead spaces. Let's see. Nope, 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 nope. Where's? Huh? Why are you not there? Hmm. Oh, because I'm looking in the wrong folder. That's why I can't see it. Here we go. Stem zip. Let's see. Let's open up. Okay, so she put them in all different alto, soprano, and tenor voicing. Can I look at it? Goodness. I guess I can't open it up as from the original track. Please stay in the basement until your wife is no longer mad at you. She may not let you go or live anymore. No, we are at year 45 now. The year 45? 77 we got married? Yeah, year 45. She knows me. Not many 45-year marriages that anybody can say that in 45 years, yes, there were arguments. I just didn't yell back. So it was always a one-way argument. I said, you know what? You're right, dear. I'm useless. I'm no good. I messed up. You should just leave me right now. And it's been 45 years and she hasn't left yet. Because she knows that if you leave me, who else are you going to go to? And that's how I conducted married life. If you could find better than me, there's the door. I won't stop you. And 45 years later, I still hear the door open. She comes in with her key in the Lexus that I bought her. Yeah, it cost me, but if you can find better, I won't stop you. Okay, God still answers prayer. I'm pulling up my track on session on in Pro Tools, so you can hear the vocals without the music. Because this is how important um, songwriting is. When you're not a singer but you can write, you need to hear how a true vocalist, can actually interpret not just the words but the oomph that's needed behind, so that the communication can be the communication of the lyrics with the music can be heard. Okay, so I got the track open. Let me solo all the tracks just so you hear just the vocals only. Oh yeah, and I've written about 30 songs. This is only one of the 30 that I've written. I do have another one I want her to do, minus the cost, of course. If I do it just right, then I won't have to pay. So I think this should be routed through where you can hear it. Just her vocals only. This should route through. Let's see, let's move it to here. Okay, you're not hearing it because I'm probably going to have to share this page. So let's go back to here and let's share my Pro Tools page. Edit page. Yep. Okay. So that's my Pro Tools page. Let's bring all this down. And there are her vocals. Just bring that down. That's the final page right there of the production. Move me out of the way. Now we should be able to hear her vocals because I've shared this page with an OBS. Let's see if we come through. Okay, still not hearing it. give me a chance to create another audio input capture. Okay. And let's capture from right here, because that's where it's going. Now we should be able to hear it. And we don't. So let's go into here. Hmm. All right. There we go. Let's see if this now brings it up. Alrighty. I've done this in the past. Why isn't Pro Tools allowing this to go out? It's not going out to master. Why? What did I turn on or turn off? Alright, forgive me. For some reason, I'm not getting output from Pro Tools. So let me turn something else I just turned on off. 2, 3, 4, 5. Two, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Is this the one? Sorry to have you not hear anything. Everything I'm trying is not working, and I've done this several times in the past and not had a problem sharing what I'm doing on my Pro Tools. Let me just check my settings for sound output and see where things are going. Alright, so let's send that there. Maybe I didn't have it routed correctly. Let's try it again. One, two, three, and not a peep. Alright, let's turn everything. Obviously something I did wrong. Let's see. Alright, if I do that, it works. So obviously I turned off too much. Okay. And oh yeah. I have to solo everything, even the effects windows. Yep. And now it should play.
God still answers prayer.
I'm missing a voice. Alto.
He will be right there.
Tenor.
Hold on and don't despair.
There it is.
God still answers prayer.
So those are the singers.
God still answers prayer.
That's a little loud. Let's turn it down some. That's my vocal. That's one person.
He will be right there.
This is a songwriter's dream, to have a singer that can interpret.
Hold on and don't despair. God still answers prayer.
Who can interpret what you hear.
Men ought to always pray and not faint. God said, men ought to always pray and not faint. Pray, pray, pray until something happens. Pray, pray until something happens. God still answers prayer. God still answers prayer. He will be right there. Hold on and don't you despair. God still answers prayer. Men ought to always pray and not faint. God said, men ought to always pray and not faint. Pray, pray, pray until something happens. Pray, pray until something happens. God still answers prayer. God still, God still, God still answers prayer. God still, God still, God still answers prayer.
So the um, the work still continues. Your supporting my channel will help me to be able to compensate singers like her and others who I want to bring to life the other side of what I do, not just teach music, but I'm going to introduce a songwriting session, or a, my seat keeps falling down, an actual songwriting session as part of my offerings here on the Sound of Joy channel. I want to help musicians such as yourselves take those songs that are in your head, learn how to build a melody around those lyrics. Sometimes too many lyrics might require a different style of approach music-wise. But I'd like to be able to assist in that. I will not have any ownership in it. I will not be looking to be put down as a quote unquote a co-writer. Did someone sit with me and help me to interpret how to put music around a song? No. But every album production I've ever heard and how they did that, my era of gospel music, helped me to be able to interpret what kind of quoting and kind of a oomph you can put with a certain style of song. This one is built for a large choir. If I were to offer it to a choir, I would probably offer it to Ricky Dillard. I wouldn't offer it to Kirk Franklin, but I would offer it to Ricky Dillard. He has the type of choir that these type of vocalists would be able to push a song like this with a nice lead, walking or leading the vocals to each of the sections. That's what I can hear as a musician who has learned to play from hearing. A lot of people say you play by ear. No, I don't play by ear. I play by hear. I can hear it, hear the melodies, hear the chording placed around the melodies, and then interpret the other instruments that are put around it. If you've heard the production that I have here on YouTube, you will hear all the horns. I put an aux track with a Rhodes. I put the bass with it. I used a electronic MIDI style drummer, easy drummer to hold the beat in place. I may sounded bad trying to play behind those vocals because I didn't have that rhythm behind me to keep me locked in. But the production was great for me. Once I got real serious about it, I created the reference track for this young lady to put the vocals to, and then once I got her vocals, I changed everything. I went into this as okay. Now that I got the vocals, let's lock them in. Let's put them where they need to be placed. If we're looking at, I can go back to that page because this is part of what I'm going to be covering. If you see all of those cut-ups in the vocal track, I can expand this. Where's the plus at? This is what you don't hear from everybody. All those numbers you see there, that's me aligning all 4 tracks to match where the breath marks are. So when she's singing, she did 4 separate tracks for each section. Because she sung them separately, there was a different connotation to the vocal. So this allowed me to go in there and say, okay, she held this note a little longer there, but now it's clashing a little bit with this track. But then I want that to sound like it's a multiple people singing. So I had to go in, and every now and then when it didn't sound like I needed to hear, you'll see like if you see all those cuts right there, the third right in the middle, that was me going in and saying I needed to hear a different pronunciation. And this is the soprano track. I went in and I made those adjustments from my ear hearing what I wanted to hear. Yeah, it's a little bit closer. Each one of those, as you can see, is different. Same voice, but a different approach to it, which sounds like a group or group of background singers. But I went in down to the syllable and made adjustments. Each one of those cuts there are me making adjustments to how I wanted it to hear. Not maybe if the timing was off by a millisecond. With the music around, you don't tell. But when you've got just the vocals going and that's going in your ear, you hear the p and the p, and it's, okay, I don't have enough of that. I would actually go to another track that sounded better, take it off of that track, and then cut and paste it here. That is the level of dedication that a producer puts into their work. I didn't have to call her back and say, hey, can you re-sing me this track again? I'll send another quote unquote sum of money for another track. No, you did a great job. thank you. And then I went into it and I found if it sounded better the second time on this track, cut, paste, place. Cut, paste, place. Cut, paste, place, extend, and you have a production. I'll call it a demo production that could be presented in any workshop. Yeah, one day I might feel, what's the word I want to use? Might feel tempted to push it through people. I realize in this day and age we are right now, there are thousands of songwriters who are proven. I'm just Sam from who grew up in the Bronx, New York, and now lives in New Jersey, who has seen his day, and I realize this is a new day we're having now. But hey, listen to this. Is this something you might possibly put as the last song of a 15-song album that you've done? I haven't gotten to that level of boldness. That's the word I want to be, boldness to do that. But I'll keep putting it out there and making it available to people such as yourselves who may want to take it to your church choir. Again, I wrote this song for a church choir, not for Ricky Dillard's choir, but for a local church who has three-part harmony, who would like a song to do for offertory. This was an offertory song. You know, you march the house with the offertory, then the choir would march. So you got that, boom, 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 that marching, one, two, the ushers march. Be a great marching song for ushers if they still do that type of thing. But yeah, I have another song I wrote for Easter called "Tell the World." That that is one I want to also do. That is another choir song, which has a message. Wrote that song in my sleep and woke up writing the words down and putting the lyrics, the notes underneath the lyrics. That is one which I'm going to get done. I'd love to have her voice also on that one, along with a male voice, because there is a section there where the men have their part in the song, and a strong alto. The song starts in A flat and goes up to B flat, if you can imagine that. So I wrote that song with a lot of oomph in it. Wrote it for Easter, and my home church where I taught that song and still uses it from 1995 or 94 when I wrote it. They still use that song on Easter Sunday. Tell the world, he's risen, tell the world. Jesus is risen from the dead. Jesus is risen from the dead. And only because for years as a musician, I was always given your basic Easter songs. And sometimes when you keep hearing the same song, there's the standards used every year, you go, gee, why hasn't anybody written a different song? Yeah, in my sleep, dreaming, I heard the words of the song, the entire four stanzas. Four stanzas. Yeah, it's four sections. Four sections to tell the world. So yeah, that'll be, and I'm probably running out of steam now. I think we're running on 3 hours. Wow, my longest stream yet. But I'm glad that I'm doing it with you guys, because you give me life with your comments and your communication, and you share with me, and I appreciate that. I'll make sure I don't miss anybody. But yes, if you feel so led to, you can share. In fact, I also did a Christmas song, which was picked up. That song was picked up by the Times Square Church. Let's see, called "Glory to the Newborn King," and I combined "Hark the Herald Angels Sing" and "Joy to the World" in a contemporary song. Again, I always like to go a little different. I made that for for musicians. I'm going to post a link to Glory to the Newborn King in the chat, so at your leisure you can go listen to it. Let's stop that. This was written 1996. I believe it was 1996 I wrote this one. In your leisure, you can listen to it. Maybe too late to teach it to your local church choir, but that was the one that was picked up by the Times Square Church, and they put it on their album. Let's see. I wrote "Trust in the Lord." That was my praise song I wrote, and there's a full video on how I wrote that song from its very beginning to the actual production. And these are all the things that I'm doing so that I can communicate, give the same concept to newer musicians. Why can't I find YouTube makes you put everything in exact if you want to find the exact thing. That should bring it up. Okay, maybe I got too many words there. That's fine. Let's try that. There it is. Can't let that play because YouTube will pick it up and they will go, "Oh, you're not supposed to be playing that without permission. You don't own this song." Oh, yes, I do. So this is the other song that I wrote, and Tell the World, I'm going to share with you a link to that one. That was the second revision. That's not the original song. Of course, I actually modernized it, which I usually don't do, but I needed to be able to give it a different sound, modernize it. Interesting. Okay, so you don't want to acknowledge that I put this on my site. That's the name of my page. Why is it not coming up? Just one more, if I can get YouTube to cooperate with me and bring up what is on my page. All right, so let's do it this way then, since you don't want to do it that way. Do it this way. Well, I guess it's not going to let me. Once again, I'll tell you what. And this will be the last thing I'm doing, so I can let you good people get back to what you're doing. There it is. And this will be the last thing I'm going to share. All right. So those are the songs that I wrote. And the songwriter. Um, the other one, the God Still Answers Prayers. Also, I didn't post that one there. But those are other songs there that, as a young musician in a church, I wanted to do more than just play what someone else's song and learning so many songs from so many different choirs and groups. I said I should have the ability, because if I can learn someone else's song, I could learn the concept that they use in creating that song. And using keyboards and my own mixer that I purchased, I was able to create, Tell the World I actually created from a mixer. I have an 8-track cassette recorder. It's 20 some odd, 26 years old now, but it still works. I don't use it because no one records on cassette tapes anymore. But that was the level of dedication I had. I went into the expense of getting the best equipment that I could use portable with 5 microphones where I tracked 5 tracks and then put the music around it and create cassette tapes. So I'm not new to, not really the game, but to the process of trying to always be better than I was the last time out. And I've been on this stream 3 hours. I thank those who have been here all this time with me. I'm going to acknowledge you from the beginning of the stream. I'd like to thank Lewis, who came in, Sub-Zero, Gospel Music for Life. Just looking to see all those. Samantha Solman, oh, I missed you. Can you please play TD Jakes? This Test Is Your Storm. Gee, I'm sorry I missed that, Samantha. I'm unfamiliar with that. I'd have to learn that one. But thank you for coming in. Sorry that I missed you there. Doing so much talking. Mrs. B. Flat, you came in on us. Thank you for coming in. I'll make sure I catch everybody. That's why I always do this before I leave, to acknowledge those. Nathan Nelson, thank you for coming in and contributing with your comments. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody else. Got everyone. Again, you've all made what I do a pleasure and a joy. I'm going to be on a Zoom tonight with a group of musicians who are looking to mentor musicians such as yourselves. They want to do it from a church standpoint. I want to do it from outside the church. You should becoming the new songwriters. If you can sing and play, you've got a leg up on me. I cannot sing to save my life, but I do know what notes sound like when they are sung correctly, because my ears will tell. My ears don't lie to me. If you're singing a key at G and you're in G flat, I'll hear you in G flat and go, nope, you're not in the key of G, because relatively I can hear it and then go to the keyboard and I can play it. I can give you your notes. If you're a soprano, alto, or tenor, that I can do from the keyboard and an octave lower if I had to. And if I had to write a song, which I have done, you've got 3 of them there. There's another 27 or more, if I were to go back and look at my book, that I've yet to have produced. And I want to do that. That's 2023 on my bucket list. I got God Still Answers Prayer out finally. So the others one I want to get them out now that I have a tremendous background recorder singer. She's got my work in the future. I've got to find now that male background singer to intermix with hers with that same enthusiasm and the same technically the same, has their own setup to where they can send me representative tracks that I can put together. I built my studio down here so that I could bring in singers. I have space enough and the equipment to bring in singers. That never happened, and now with the current state of affairs, you really don't have a lot of people coming in your house. So, but the technology allows me to venture out and find the type of voices I would have been trying left and right, trying to find that particular, the right voice. As I'm losing mine while I'm talking, I guess I'm gonna be a mess for that Zoom meeting. But again, thank you all. I really do appreciate it. You make what I do a pleasure each time. I may go live again, probably doing once a day or twice a day, just finding when can I meet the needs of as many of you that I possibly can. It's been a great time. Sam Tolbert, Sound of Joy, Music Services. My company is based off the scripture Psalms 101. Make a joyful noise, all ye lands. Thank you for coming in and enjoy the rest of your day. If you don't come to this stream or you don't see me from the rest of the year, I'm hoping that the Christmas season, Hanukkah season, the Kwanzaa season finds you where you are and is a blessing to you and your family. Yes, yes, I am. And I'm getting the call from upstairs. Come upstairs. Are you ready to eat? So that, which means she's not so mad that I didn't get dinner. Be blessed, everyone, and I will see you.